Inside the stories that affect you. This is Inside KELOLAND.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Our days are getting shorter and our nights will soon be getting a lot chillier. A warm home for refuge from the cold is a luxury some people don't have. To draw awareness to what it's really like to be homeless, the Bishop Dudley is hosting a special event this week. Tonight we explain how a night of hope for the homeless works. A unique event in Parker is helping kids in need. We'll have details on the concert, plus highlights from the most recent Midwest Honor Flight. Well, pheasant season is officially underway here in South Dakota. Along with it comes a variety of activities. One of those takes place in just a couple of weeks in Parker, South Dakota. And joining us now to talk about a special concert sponsored by the Turner County Youth Charity Pheasant Hunt is Byron Nogelmeyer. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Former sheriff of Turner County.
Correct.
You've been retired for about a year now, a little
Correct.
over. And you've been doing this for 15 years.
That is right.
How did it start?
It started, like I say, 15 years ago. Prior to that, I went to a charity celebrity hunt down in Yankton, and I kind of got their idea and brought it back to Turner County.
Sure.
And myself and then a farmer down by Hurley had some land we could hunt on, and we started with a few kids to take them out and hunt for a day. And
these would be kids that wouldn't normally be able to take part in this?
These are youth hunters that have passed the hunt safety course that is put on by the state. Okay. And then we invite all them to come in and hunt one day that we put on for them. So they at least get a taste of hunting.
Yeah. And in addition to that, then you've planned this big event.
Yeah, the youth hunt is kind of one of our main focuses, so them kids can hunt. But the big event is Mark Wills coming from Nashville, Tennessee, Grand Ole Opry member. He just got inducted into the Grand Ole Opry here in January. Great musician, great artist, great singer. If you look him up on YouTube, you'll see the songs that he has.
Sure.
Songs like I Do Cherish You, Don't Laugh at Me.
So it's a big name here coming to Parker.
Yeah, he's a big name. He's had a lot of #1 hits.
And have you had a lot of interest in the concert?
You know, I think we have. I just hope we can keep that interest coming, because we need to sell tickets to the concert. That's how we make our money to give away.
Right. So you're making this money every year. You put on a concert this year. It is Mark Wills. Where does the money go that you've raised?
This year we're giving it to McCrossin's Boys Ranch. Obviously, they got at-risk youth boys out there that they need money to run their program, and we're willing to help them to do that, because our day is about the youth.
Right. So you're focusing on young people hunting. You're having a concert that's probably going to attract a few young people too, and then you're giving away the money to help young people. So really, the focus is all throughout the entire event on youth. Over the last 15 years, it's been pretty successful, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we've given away a little over $115,000 over the past 15 years.
And do you know where some of that money has gone?
We started. We gave it to the Red Cross. We've given it to Cystic Fibrosis, American Cancer Society. Then we kind of switched it up and kept it locally with area food pantries and ministerial associations. And now this year we joined up with McCrossin's Boys Ranch.
Yeah, well, that's terrific. So give us the details again. We had something up on the screen about the concert, but do you need to buy tickets in advance, tickets at the door?
You can buy tickets in advance. You can buy them at www.itickets.com. You can buy them.
I'm sure we'll have a link for you too on KELOLAND.com.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
And then Security State Bank and Chancellor, Merchant State Bank at all their locations in Freeman and Viborg, Hurley and Irene.
That's a really reasonable ticket price for a concert.
$25 is
in advance.
We should probably be charging $50, but we want people to show up.
Sure. How many people are you expecting, or how many people would you like to see?
Well, I would like to see 1,000 people there.
Oh, let's hope that happens. We can accommodate that.
Yes, we can, and we would love to have the gymnasium full for Mark.
As the former sheriff of Turner County, how's retirement going for you? Spending a lot of time on stuff like this?
Well, no, we got this down to a science now.
Because you've been doing it for so many years.
Yes, because I've been doing it for 15 years. But retirement is good. and I'm loving what I'm doing.
Awesome. Thanks for all the way you're giving back too.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
absolutely. Very, thank you very much.
We've put the information online for folks, and we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us inside KELOLAND. We'll be right back. As of January 2019, nearly 1,000 people in South Dakota consider themselves homeless. 334 of them are in Sioux Falls. While there are places to seek shelter, it's an ongoing struggle. This week, the Bishop Dudley Hospitality House is holding a unique event to give people a better perspective of what it is like to actually be homeless. Joining us now to talk about that event is the Executive Director, Madeline Shields. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Angela.
New Executive Director of the Bishop Dudley House.
Yes, I've been there about 6 weeks now.
6 weeks, and you'd been at the banquet, also working with needy people, and since for 15 years or so?
Almost 15 years. So it was just a great transition to walk across the street and now be at the Bishop Dudley House. It's really been a great transition.
And really, I was driving off the interstate the other day. There was a man sitting there, and I said, "Can I get you to the Bishop Dudley House?" You know, asking for money. I gave him some money, and he said, "Yeah, I know, and I'm going. Are you seeing more and more people there?"
We do see many people, and as the weather turns cold and frigid, we're going to see a lot more people turning to the Bishop Dudley House for shelter at night. You know, we do have a day shelter and we have a night shelter. And I think many people don't realize that we are open 22 out of the 24 hours a day. And so our doors are open. We are a hospitality house. We invite our folks in who have nowhere else to go during the day or the evening.
Doesn't matter what time of day or night it is.
It does not.
During those 22 hours, you can get in.
Right. The only hours we are closed is from 7 in the morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. when the banquet is serving breakfast, and from 5:30 in the evening until 6:30 in the evening when the banquet is serving dinner.
So really, the two organizations work in conjunction with each other.
We do, and we, you know, we are absolutely separate organizations run by separate entities, but we do have a collaboration because we are serving the same folks in our community.
So you are planning this event because I think it is hard for people to relate really what it's like to be homeless. There's a lot of judgment, first of all, that goes on.
There is. You know, people don't choose to be homeless. It is a circumstance. It could be a job loss. It could be an illness, a physical illness. It could be a mental illness. And there is so much stigma that goes with mental illness, with alcohol addiction and drug addiction. And these people turn to us in their time of need. We do not turn them away if they had been drinking. We are open doors, open arms. We have a policy to let these folks in. And especially when the weather dips below freezing, our doors are open to all people who need shelter in the evening. We don't want anyone to be outside and tragically freeze to death.
Most of us, and that happens every year. Last winter, I did a couple of reports on somebody who had frozen to death under the viaduct and had been drinking. So every year, for some reason or another, they don't get to you, which, you know, we don't always know why that is.
We don't know why. It's not that they can't get to us. We are open. They either choose not to, or they may be so inebriated that they just cannot get to us. And, you know, the police do go out and they search for these folks. And so, you know, we do the best we can to get them into our facility.
We'd like to see nobody freeze to death, but almost every winter it seems like there are a few of those that happen.
It is a sad reality. But the night of
tell us about a Night of Hope.
It's called a Night of Hope for the Homeless. And what we do is we invite members of our community in to our facility. It is Thursday night, October 24th. The event begins about 6 o'clock, and we have a big tent in our parking lot. And your own Kevin Kiergaard from KELO TV will be sleeping out.
Photojournalist.
Yes, he will be sleeping out this year with us. And Jane Andrews has been out before as well. And what it is by no means do we ever assume that the folks who are sleeping out in the tent are homeless or can even really relate to being homeless.
Or like spending one night. Like critics would say, you spend one night, what does that mean, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what it does is it opens their eyes, and it opens the community's eyes to knowing the difference of, okay, I'm out here, I'm in this tent, it's noisy. You know, the train goes by, it's right there. The airplanes are going over because you're outside, it's cold. And then the bars close and people are milling around at 1:30 and it's loud. And we're not used to that when we're in our homes, or at 2 o'clock when you have to go to the restroom. You know you can walk down the hall and use your own bathroom, and the people who are staying out in our parking lot know they can walk into the Bishop Dudley house and use the restroom. But if they're truly sleeping out by the Big Sioux River, or if they're under the 10th Street Bridge, they have to go seek somewhere. And the whole aspect of being safe. They know that they are safe. There is staff there. There are people there.
What kind of reaction have you had from people who've participated in the event? Because I think we do all take for granted our nice warm house, our comfortable bed, and our bathroom nearby.
Right. You know, people realize that, you know, this is a simulation, but it really makes them stop and think that even though I'm outside, I still am almost have a luxury. I am safe. I know that I don't have to sleep with one eye open, knowing that, you know, somebody might be lurking around me and I could become a victim. And so it just is it's an eye opener as to the plight of way too many people in our community. Since the Bishop Dudley House opened in 2015, we have had 5,850 unique men stay with us, and 1,800 women. These are individuals. You know, we, of course, this year.
And when you say unique, that means not repeat customers,
not
right?
repeat customers. These are all individual people.
So if someone can't go to a Night of Hope, how else can they support the organization?
Sure, they can go to our website at bdhh.org. You can watch the videos from folks who have slept out before, and you can always help us through monetary donations. We need volunteers to help in the day room to actually interact with our guests. We need warm winter clothing and warm gloves, especially gloves, hats, and scarves right now at this time of year. We need those thick gloves because those thin ones just don't cut it when they're outside.
Right, for a long period of time.
We could use some serving items like sturdy paper plates and those 100-cup coffee pots. We're always brewing coffee in the men's room, the women's room, in the day rooms. And so those are items that we really need to have on hand, and they wear out.
Yeah, lots of ways to help. Well, thank you so much for being here. Good luck with your upcoming event.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, a look back at the most recent Midwest Honor Flight. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside KELOLAND. It's been just a week since Mission 6 of Midwest Honor Flight visited the memorials in Washington, D.C. While most trips included veterans from various wars, this one was different. Only Vietnam veterans were on the flight. KELOLAND.com reporter Michael Guerin had the honor of joining this crew and gives you a recap of the trip.
We're using them very effectively here in this war in Vietnam to dive bomb the Viet Cong in these jungles beyond Da Nang here.
My reception was Mom and Dad. That was it. There was a lot of cold shoulder type stuff.
I was very excited about this honor flight, being an all-Vietnam charter, but also a little nervous. Not only because I know how hard it is for some of you to have decided to come on this flight, but having to do with my own emotion and how our country treated y'all. I hope today we get to show you how important y'all are and how thankful our nation is to you.
reception we got at Reagan National Airport. I mean, every vet that I've talked to, I mean, it blew us right out of our boots. We couldn't believe it.
When the plane landed in D.C. and we walked through the airport there was maybe 200-300 yards of kids, adults, old people, young people cheering, waving flags, and just really making you feel good. And it's very emotional.
Cheering people and high fives and welcome home and all this stuff, and just citizens from Washington D.C. One of the tour guides, the local tour guides, told us that this is just people that come out for these flights.
Welcome home, everybody. Welcome home.
It was a chance for all of us to make things right from how our country treated you all those years ago, and I'd like to apologize to all of you on behalf of all those who disrespected you guys so long ago. And I hope today we were able to show you that there are many Americans who are grateful for your service and all that you did for our country.
Tonight, you probably have the biggest role in this flight than any other thing that we did. As I said, this is the group of veterans that was not going home warmly. We were a country that did not understand war and did not understand what these men and women had been through. So when they come through those doors, it is your job to wipe away absolutely every bad memory of that welcome home that you can and put a brand new memory in. So
We are going to take a quick break and talk to KELOLAND.com reporter Michael Guerin when we return. Welcome back to Inside KELOLAND. We're continuing our conversation tonight on the most recent Midwest honor flight for Vietnam veterans. You just saw the video there. It looked like an amazing experience. KELOLAND.com reporter Michael Guerin joins us now to talk about that 20-hour day.
Yeah.
When did it start? What time?
I got to their hotel at the Sheraton by the convention center at 3 in the morning. And many of them were already downstairs ready to go. So
they were anxious.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought it was going to be a crazy day. You know, like I thought I'd be exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't. The adrenaline was going. And
we get energy from.
And they weren't. I mean, I think everyone.
What do you think the average age was on that flight?
In their 60s, 70s. It was it was the youngest honor flight.
Right. When I went on the very first honor flight, it was mostly World War II vets, some Korean War, and. Yeah, the age was much older, 90s, 80s, late 80s.
It was funny, they were saying that we were running ahead of schedule the entire time because these veterans were way faster than they're used to. I mean, we were zipping around D.C.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So you get there and you land. What time did you land? And they had a really nice greeting, right? You showed a little bit of the plane ride
Well,
there.
and I think most of the veterans I talked to, that was their favorite part of the entire thing, was this greeting in Washington. We got off the plane at Reagan National, and there was a crowd like I couldn't even believe it. I mean, through the gate, down the...
And Honor Flight organizes that, right?
They do, but a lot of it was just people waiting for their flight came out and shook hands with everyone.
Very cool, very cool.
I mean, there were hundreds of people.
Because you touched on it in that piece, that you can go back and watch that on KELOLAND.com, plus all your other pieces.
Right.
But you touched on the fact we all know when the Vietnam vets got back from Vietnam, there was so much anti-war sentiment that they many times were even spit on and had horrible things happen to them. And certainly there was no big welcoming parade or anything like that as veterans from other wars had received.
Yeah, this is their welcome home. And, you know, it's interesting because I'm younger and grew up in the post 9/11 era, and so for me, it's always been this. It was so surprising to hear some of their stories about their welcome home.
Oh,
from
so
Vietnam.
You weren't familiar with that part of history?
I mean, I knew a little bit about it, but to hear it firsthand, it's really hard to hear that because of how America.
Yeah, and I think it really affected how many of those men and women felt about themselves once they got back here.
Right. I mean, I talked to a guy who said he was denied for a loan or a mortgage, and he said the banker said it was because he served in Vietnam.
Wow.
So I mean, it just stories like that. Yeah, it was a very powerful healing process, I think, for these veterans.
When I saw the Vietnam War Memorial when I was on Honor Flight, what struck me are just the lists of names, and I just felt a pit in my stomach to think about all those lives lost in that horrific battle in the jungle.
There was 187, I believe, in South Dakota. We put pictures of every single one on KELOLAND.com who died in the war.
Oh, that's fantastic. Go check that out.
Yeah, I went with a group of men from Gregory to see their cousin and on the wall, and they couldn't find him, and they came up to me, and I found they have an
There's
app.
an app, right?
Yeah, and so I found where he was located on the wall, and that was a very powerful moment for them and for me.
And you have that story on KELOLAND.com.
I do have that story on KELOLAND.com.
Keep directing that because so many stories. How many stories have you put together on this?
Five different stories. So yeah, plus a photo gallery. Yeah.
And then the last thing, when they got back. So you got back what time at night?
We arrived around 9 o'clock.
And you went directly to the arena.
Yeah, we had a police escort to the arena, and
I just thought that was so powerful, seeing those buses driving into the arena like that. Who was in the crowd?
Family members, but I think the general community. I think a lot of it was just the community was out there. I think people knew the importance of this.
What was the reaction on the bus? Because we didn't see that in that piece.
It was a lot of shock.
They weren't expecting that?
No, one guy came up to me and said goodbye to me at the airport when we landed. He said, "It was nice to meet you." And I said, "Yeah, nice to meet you. Hopefully I see you again soon." And then he came up to me later. He said, "You got me. I thought I wasn't going to have anything else." I thought they were just going to bed.
Oh, okay.
They
did not know that was a big surprise at the end.
Yeah, it was a big surprise.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all the coverage that you did, all by yourself. You were there with your camera and just getting all of this information, talking to so many people. So
it was an honor to go on this flight with them. I mean, it just was one of the most impactful things I've ever done in my life.
As a journalist, you can't say much more than that.
No.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, you can find out more about today's topics online at KELOLAND.com. Just click on the Inside KELOLAND section. And you'll want to join us every Sunday following the 10 o'clock news right here on KELO TV. Good evening.